And I feel like after the chaos, we're here at the Rollo Insurance Studio. After the chaos of what happened at SEC Media Days in Texas and Oklahoma and this and that, this weekend could not have gone any better for Texas A&M. And I'm talking from several layers. Unfortunately, there was a 20,000-page thread from the weekend, the pool party weekend, that Bronny and the crew were doing. I couldn't read everything. There was so much information. Those guys worked overtime. That weekend itself, to me, set the tone. And then Jimbo yesterday at the kickoff luncheon, oh my goodness, he owned the room.
Well, he always does, but it was a little bit special, it seemed like. First of all, from him talking about the charity that we
Kids First Fund,
raise money for, and then I just feel that if I'm interpreting him correctly, that there's a confidence there that there should be, but in the areas that there's some questions from the people outside looking in, like us, at the offensive line and quarterback. I think it just seems like, again, if I'm interpreting correctly, there's just this confidence that like a guy that got Big Slick on the Texas Hold'em, the first two cars. He's holding the king and the ace, and he's thinking, okay, I've got a good hand here. There's nobody else knows it, but it feels like there's a confidence there that he feels really good about those two areas.
So I've never been one of those who pays attention to other message boards, other schools. I just come to TexAgs, get my info, move on, right? And but this weekend, what caught my eye was a bunch of the posts that were going up from LSU and Texas, and everybody like, hey, guys, this is a problem over there in College Station.
Yeah. Why do people want to go to College Station? It's a hole, and I love it here. By the way, I wonder if moving forward, every coaching staff is going to have a designated barbecue coach.
Goodness gracious.
Because, they're having this cookout, and you see Terry Price
working all night,
and his cooking his barbecuing has become legendary. And I wonder how big of a recruiting tool that is. Are you going to have to hire a coach on your staff that can really barbecue?
No, they're at Texas they'll probably do sushi or something. Here's a little finger sandwich you can have. Like it's different. Barbecues for Texas A&M. This is what we do. And whoever's talking about A&M being or College Station being a hole in the wall or whatever the phrase was that I read. Have you been to Baton Rouge? Place is disgusting. It smells like feet everywhere you go and beer.
Okay, well, I'll say this. I like Baton Rouge.
It smells.
And I like the food.
It's a pretty town, yeah, but it's not.
Well, I'm not going to go there. But
it's a nice town. How about that?
It's okay. It's okay. See, this is the thing. When you live in College Station, I really like it here. I mean, I love it here. I don't feel the need to disparage someplace else. Right. Now, I will disparage Austin because of some of the political things that they've done that have deteriorated the city that I used to live in and love. I don't want to see people doing drugs right in front of me.
You don't want to see that?
No, I don't want to see that.
It's like watching that show, what was it called? The Wire. It's good.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, if you want to, that's Baltimore, right? So but anyway, so I don't feel the need to disparage Baton Rouge because I think it's such a good place here. And once you get here and actually experience it, and what's the best thing about College Station? The people.
Great people.
And so when you get here and you meet people that are friendly and nice and rooting for you, I think and then you see, hey, there's all these restaurants and things to do down in, if you're in college.
Right.
There's things to do. If you're in your 30s and single, it's probably not the best place. But if you're in college, great. There's all kinds of things.
Here's my thing. And by the way, I do like Baton Rouge. But when people from Baton Rouge and Austin talk about College Station, I'm like, have you been there in the last 10 years? Have you seen the changes? And even back in the day, I kind of sometimes miss old College Station, which was, we had like 3 restaurants. I would go to the Outback, Cafe Excel, in the buffet place, right? There weren't that many places. But I love that it's still got that small town charm.
Yes.
But all the stuff you need in a big city, we've got it. We've got it here.
I had a guy from Texas that was saying, that made some comment about, well, you can't even, we have Lake Travis. You can't even go to the lake. And I said, well, first of all, I lived in Austin. And if you're in Austin around Texas, which we're talking about athletes, it takes you an hour to get to Lake Travis because you can run into traffic and anything. Well, in that same hour, I could be at Lake Conroe or Somerville.
Right.
So
I will say, I've gotten kind of snooty with traffic recently. It took me 14 minutes to get to the station, or to the headquarters here at TexAgs this morning. I had to stop it. There was construction on Wellborn. Really?
Yeah,
One lane for 44 seconds? That was not fun.
Having lived in Austin and of course you were in Houston and then in Nashville, I will never complain about College Station traffic because the problem's not exist. Now I do know that when the kids come back in mass, okay, it's probably going to take you said 14 minutes, probably going to take 16. You 25 minutes to get somewhere.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I better leave earlier is what you're telling me.
A little bit earlier.
Hey, let's do a couple things. Let's set out the phone number and get some conversation going. The BCSI Associates hotline is 979-693-1150, or you can text us on the A&B text line, Real Texas Banking. And the question for the day is, how are you feeling about things after this great pool party weekend? Love to get your thoughts. We will read them here on the show, break it all down. And I got to ask everybody this question. I asked you before the show started, why does Stuart Mandel hate Texas A&M? Or at least that's the vibe I get when I read his tweets. Let's go say hi to Dalton there behind the glass. We don't have a glass, but that's what producers do. They're at the Fishbowl. Good morning to you, Dalton.
You want to say behind the glass, but it's in the actual other room behind a door with a bunch of other people.
Say hi to the peoples.
Hi, peoples. How's it going?
Hey, man. So why does Stuart Mandel hate us? I read his tweet yesterday. I don't know if you saw it. And maybe I'm reading too much into it, and let me know if I am. So some guy from 24/7 said this is a type of recruiting ranking that could keep A&M as a national title contender for years to come. Then he went over the top and he said they got from Orange Bowl champ to national title contender for years to come in one summer. Now maybe he's being really nice. Maybe he's actually praising us, but I feel like he's being sarcastic there, Dalton.
I'd say you're right, and I don't know why, but
is there a history there?
I'd say it fits the mold. I don't know. That would be a Billy question for when he comes on about when, where, how, why that started.
I do know that when the price of oil plummeted, Stewart made a point to make a tweet about how's A&M going to, he's laughing about the price of oil plummeting and people losing their jobs, and how's A&M going to pay Jimbo Fisher's exorbitant salary anyway now. And by the way, I don't think he ever missed a check. And I just thought that was really poor taste that when people were losing their jobs, maybe not where he's from,
right,
but down here, and that the first thing you wanted to do was mock a university for paying a coach what a lot of universities pay their coach in the same ballpark, but it was A&M,
right?
And I think he has an issue. He's part of that national media that always had that. First of all, never believed Jimbo Fisher would leave Florida State for A&M.
I remember those guys.
And now is still offended that he was wrong.
So let's play a game, How to Do Your Job. It's a great game. I don't know if you have ever played, but I'll say this. And I know some people gave my buddy Greg Bailey some issues the other day on ABC 13. But when you are a national correspondent, I believe, or you represent a region, correct? I believe you're not supposed to show your biases when you are reporting on topics. I don't think you should, right?
I agree, absolutely.
And I, as a loving graduate of Texas A&M, I had to use a different mask when I would talk about Texas and Baylor and Texas Tech and Rice and the University of Houston, and I would try not to show my biases on the air. That being said, sometimes my highlights for A&M, especially the Alabama game when I had to work the Johnny Alabama game, 2012, I got a little more excited on the air than normal. But I think excitement is one thing, but being rude towards a university or looking down on people, to me, that's not how you're supposed to go of your business, especially when you are looked upon as a higher member of media. Like Stuart Mandel's got some chops. He's been in the industry for a long time.
Yes.
He's a respected member of the media.
When I was a national writer, I really tried hard, and I think I succeeded to be completely objective. Now, did that mean I didn't take shots at anybody? No, I took shots. I remember writing something about how Vanderbilt would never win a SEC championship, and one of their fans was upset and said, "Oh, since you know everything, since you can see the future, when's the world going to end? And I said, when Vanderbilt wins an SEC championship. So when you're in national media, yeah, you'll take shots at somebody from time to time when they
deserve it, maybe?
When it's pertinent.
Yeah.
But I don't think you routinely take shots at a specific coach or player or university just to do so. And it seems like that's been the case for some guys like Stewart. And I think it still goes back to two things. I mean, look, Stewart's The Athletic, they were taking all kinds of shots at A&M last year for thinking they should be in the playoff. And then when Ohio State lost by the same score that A&M did in the championship game, then they had to absorb the criticism and understand that was Alabama without a healthy Jalen Waddle,
right,
without Landon Dickerson. So it wasn't even the same Alabama team.
And if I remember correctly, they took their foot off the accelerator at that game.
Yeah.
So it could have been way worse.
So so I think the fact that they had to they were subject to the criticism from A&M fans.
Sure.
For their bias at that time, it just so now it's they don't want to acknowledge that how good A&M is. A&M's not in the caste system that elite caste system that they want to have for college football, and then they were wrong.
Let me say this about that, because I wasn't doing the show with you guys when that was all going down. I can understand. I don't agree, but I can understand thinking that A&M wasn't one of the best four, although I disagree with you. But your methodology behind that's where I have a problem with it. And if you say because Ohio State's got this history and reputation, and Notre Dame has this history and reputation, you're going to go with them because of it, I disagree on the eyeball test and what we saw A&M do last year. But at least that's an argument that I can not agree with, but I can understand. But the other arguments that I heard, that A&M, you shouldn't lose by whatever to Alabama, everybody
did except for Ole Miss. And Florida.
And what does it mean to lose early in the season and then find your rhythm, as opposed to losing? How many did Notre Dame lose towards the end? 2 in a row before?
Yeah.
I mean, that just, to me, blows up the whole argument. How many games did Ohio State play? I don't even remember.
Like 6.
Yeah. So those are all things that should have been weighted, and I feel that they weren't. But I'm willing to listen to arguments, but I'm not willing to have a bias against us just because we're Texas A&M.
You know how you know that there's that caste system among the national medias? How many times have you heard this statement? College football is better when Notre Dame is good. How many times have you heard that?
I've heard that forever.
And my answer is why? Why? Because they won a national championship in 1988?
Yeah, it reminds you of your youth. Why? Like, what about it?
Because it seems like to me that even when Notre Dame was struggling and won 4 and 8, and then everybody was still watching college football, and college football has been blowing up even with that. Yeah. So that's because guys like Stuart Mandel and they have this thing about Notre Dame. They're part of the caste system. So anyway.
I would love for somebody to email me a hit list of people that we don't like at TexAgs, because I'm going to put Tim Brando on. No, you're not.
No, I see. And I disagree with that. I like the idea of hearing what the detractors have to say, so I can hear their argument and then come back and shoot holes in it.
Right.
We've had guys on before that were anti-A&M, and then I've had them on like Barrett Sallee and argued with them. And then one time I had Barrett Sallee, who was always criticizing Jimbo Fisher, and I got him to admit on air that if he had been A&M's athletic director, he would have hired Jimbo Fisher.
Right.
So I like the argument.
I have learned in this role over the last month that people love to go with narratives that they haven't really researched.
Oh, that's true.
They hear something. I talked to somebody the other day talking about, Jimbo left Florida State in a bad spot. I'm like, and he had some good years, but really, how good was? I'm like, really? Have you seen what he did there? He went. What did he even say yesterday? I went 2.5 years without losing a game. The narratives that people leave out there, they fester. They're out there, and then people absorb them, and they don't really research what happened, and then they go with it, and they put it on social media, and then their fans start believing it too, and then this narrative is out there that isn't true.
It really is. They won 10 games for 5 or 6 years in a row, plus a national championship. Then they lost. Their quarterback got hurt, so they went 6-6. They had other injuries. It was just one of those bad luck years. They were still competitive in most of their games, and then his unnamed assistant coach from Florida State, kind of trashed him in the Matt Hayes story, and that unnamed coach, I think, is probably Rick Trickett, the offensive line coach that he didn't bring with him, and whose son was a quarterback that didn't win the starting job at Florida State and transferred to West Virginia. I wonder if that had anything to do with it.
Let's do this. We got to hit a break here in a second. I do want to say, I don't even know if I'm supposed to talk about it, but we're experimenting with a little YouTube at the moment. So we're doing a little live stream for the first little bit of the show. We're going to experiment with it a little bit, see how it goes, just give people a different view and a different way to catch part of the show. We're only going to do a little bit of it, so we appreciate those watching there on YouTube. And we got a big show still ahead of you. I didn't really set it out, but we'll tell you what's coming up next. 21 and 21 presented by Factory Builder Stores. Number 20 coming up on the show here on TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers.
This is Aggieland's home for sports. The Zone 1150 AM and 93.7 FM.
When your diesel truck or construction equipment needs DEF, WPI has the best price in town. Only $8.50 for 2.5 gallons. Regardless of your machine's make or model, WPI can help. From custom hydraulic hoses, O-rings to teeth, buckets and blades. Any part, filter, fluid, battery, or lighting is at your local WPI. Visit Jesse James at WPI's new location in Bryan, Highway 21 east at Marina Road, or click WPI.com.
Hey, it's David Nuño. Texas known for football, barbecue, and hot summer temperatures. And typically, the hotter the weather, the higher your electricity bill. But with some help from Energy Ogre, a Texas technology company, you can lower your bill by up to 40%. In fact, we signed up 2 years ago, and they saved my family 35%. Energy Ogre will find you the cheapest electricity plan in your area. Manage all future contracts, saving you time and money. Go to EnergyOgre.com and enter code HOWDY for a free month of service. That's EnergyOgre.com to start saving today.
The flagship station for Aggie Athletics is The Zone. Whenever the Aggies are playing, you can hear them right here at 1150 and 93.7 FM. Thank you to all our listeners and our sponsors for backing the Aggies all year long. Cooper's Old Time Pit Barbecue, Swartman Flooring, Prosperity Bank, Hargrove Insurance, Park at Traditions Exceptional Senior Living, Cherry Rufino Broker Realtor with Coldwell Banker Apex Realtors, and Amarillo National Bank. Here's a big gig 'em to all these sponsors. Listen to Aggie Athletics on The Zone 1150 and 93.7 FM.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad, just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Hey, y'all, this is Marty Smith.
And I'm Ryan McGee. And we are
Marty and McGee. Check us out every Saturday morning on ESPN Radio and the SEC Network.
Of course, we'll be all over the biggest news in the world of sports.
And plenty of that Marty and McGee type stuff.
Like the Hillbilly Headlines.
And some of the craziest callers you've ever heard in your life.
It might be the only reason to wake up that early on a Saturday morning.
Yeah, for sure. It's Marty and McGee.
Saturday mornings, 6 to 9.
Here.
It is TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, 911 University Drive in East College Station. You can shop them online at davidgardnersjewelers.com. Love everybody there at David Gardner's. They're such a great family, and they do such great work there here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. So we've got a topic out there that we're going to continue going through on the show, which is how are you feeling about the pool party and everything that happened after this great weekend? I feel a lot of momentum, but before we get into that, there are some text messages and some phone calls to get to. We're going to continue on with our 21 and 21 presented by Factory Builder Stores. And today, OB, we are doing number 20, Andre White. I do want to tell you guys that Factory Builder Stores sells appliances and cabinets. They have 7 showrooms across 6 cities: Texas, Austin, College Station, Corpus Christi, Dallas. Houston's got a couple, and San Antonio. They're a very knowledgeable crew, helpful, and very personable, as is Andre White, who you have met his mother before.
I did. I met her in an elevator at the hotel in, I want to say it was Columbia, Mississippi.
Okay.
Before the Mississippi State game. And a delightful woman, and she was telling me that that Andre grew up with Micah Parsons, the Cowboys' first-round pick, also a linebacker. And I just hope that Andre can be as good as Micah Parsons. And why not hope for that? Andre White, when he hadn't played a lot, the sample size has been small. But when he has played, it seems like you always notice him. He's always making a play, whether it's a late sack against Ole Miss a couple of years ago or an interception against North Carolina last year that set up A&M's first touchdown.
I think he also had a big sack against LSU.
Yeah, he's a productive player.
Yep.
And, he's physical. I think he had about 32 tackles last year in a backup role. I mean, that's not bad at all. He's one of those reasons that I'm very optimistic about the linebacker position because we all worried about how are you going to replace a guy like Buddy Johnson.
Right.
And I'm not saying Andre White's going to be as good as Buddy Johnson. I'm not even saying that he's going to start because we don't know what's coming with Edgerrin Cooper or the kid out of Florida. I can't think of his name right now.
Edgerrin Cooper, Antonio Doyle, Chris Russell, all going to try to get that spot.
There's a bunch of guys that they're good linebacker. But I'll say this. From what I've seen from Andre White, if he's not starting, that means the guy is starting is even better than him.
Right.
So I think the linebacker position is going to be fine. I will say this, based on what I have seen from Andre White playing, he's a productive guy. He's fast. He may not be as fast as Edgerrin Cooper, but he's plenty fast enough at linebacker, and he's physical. He's not going to be shy about sticking his head into the to take a running back one-on-one in the hole. For a long time we always said this, that the big problem with A&M's linebackers was they would hit the running back in the hole, but the play didn't end until like 4 yards later. And Buddy gave you that last year, more of that guy that the play ended there.
Right there.
And I think Andre White's the type of guy that when he makes the contact, more often than not, the play's going to end there. I'm very, very obviously high on Andre White.
So you mentioned a point. When somebody makes plays that just jump out, that tells you something. When there's a guy who hasn't played that much, but you remember his plays, be that in the Orange Bowl because of how it started off that game, be that in the LSU game. Was it the Ole Miss game that you were talking about earlier, Mississippi State?
2 years ago was Ole Miss.
When you remember individual plays from a guy who doesn't have that much of a sample set, that tells you something. You either remember the good plays or the bad plays, right. And these are good plays.
Yeah, he's the kind of guy that when, maybe if you have a starter out, say a Miles Jones out, and another guy comes in and he's not proven, and if he gives up a big play, you get worried when he's going to be out. So like last year, as Brian George came out and got beat a couple times against Tennessee, he got better.
Right.
But, there was still some uneasiness. Whenever Andre White came in for Buddy Johnson, I don't think you really noticed, right? And is there, other than if he made a big play, and is there anything to make you feel better, at least there shouldn't be, that when your starter comes out,
you don't
notice it. And I think that tells you what you need to know about Andre White. You didn't notice a drop-off in production with the defense. People weren't suddenly, okay, now that Buddy Johnson's out of the game, we're going to run it at this new guy, and we're going to pick up all kinds of yards. It didn't happen.
Yeah, he shows up on the film. He also, there is no drop-off. Now we'll see what happens if he does get that extended play. That is the big question. Right. But he has the potential to really solidify a very good defense that you had very little holes that left for the NFL. If there's no drop-off, this A&M defense will be better than they were last year.
And I think he's, being from Pennsylvania, I'm not going to act like I'm an expert on Pennsylvania high school football.
I know you watch all their games.
But I'm assuming, and maybe I shouldn't, but I'm assuming they don't play the same style of football that they do in high school football in Texas, where you're throwing the ball around every play. And so you don't typically see as many linebackers as you used to coming out of our state. I mean, you still see great ones like, Harold Perkins, and things like that, but not in volume like used to. And I'm assuming that you're still play more a physical style up in Pennsylvania. And a guy like Andre White, 4-star guy. I mean, it's not like he was, undervalued. A guy like Andre White's used to playing that kind of football at linebacker that you play in the SEC so often.
I know that A&M has, for years, it's always been a national brand that you would be able to get guys from the East Coast and the West Coast. But right now, where you look at where this program is and the amount of guys that are thinking about coming to Texas A&M and are already here from the Harrisburg, Pennsylvanias, from Los Angeles. I mean, it is a different animal the way we are recruiting now. We've always done well with Texas, always. But now I feel like it's a destination place beyond.
Well, I think what Jimbo Fisher was talking about yesterday is, he wanted to expand the brand, and then you expand it, and you get guys from New Jersey and Pennsylvania, New York, and really all over the country. I think A&M has guys from like 15 or 16 different states now and a couple of countries. And once they get here, they look around and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I had no idea." Look at the facilities. Look at this. Look at that. This is great. And then on top of that, look at my coaches and the relationships I build with them. And so I think it becomes this moment of clarity. Once you get here, you got a guy like Fidel Diggs or a guy like Donnell Harris from Miami, Diggs from New Jersey, I believe it is, or maybe it's New York. And they come down here and say, "Oh, I really like this. I didn't know." So what Jimbo Fisher has done such a great thing with guys like Andre White is get them here, convince them to come, and then once you get them on here, you got a really good chance to get some really good football players once they see what A&M has to offer.
You're exactly right. Hey, let me just give everybody a little programming update. Dustin Harris coming in studio in the 9 o'clock hour. Looking forward to chatting with him. Luch will be here in the 10 o'clock hour. We will continue our 21 and 21 presented by Factory Builder Stores. When Liucci does join us, we'll do that at 10:20 for appointment viewing. He'll give us his perspective on all of that. But a lot more. We're going to get to your phone calls and your text messages here on the AMB text line, 979-693-1150. You can also call the show. We have open lines here for the next segment, BCS Eye Associates Hotline, thanks to Dr. K, 979-693-1150. Right now, though, a moment for our friends at the Association of Former Students. Guys, I avoided them. I was one of those guys that kind of drifted away. I paid out of school first 5-10 years. I had the decal. I was proud. And then I moved a couple times, forgot to renew, and then a couple years later, I hadn't been involved. And when I started researching coming back to College Station to live, I was like, dude, where have I been? Then I caught up with Randy and talked to the crew there and Porter and Catherine Greenwade, and we all chatted. And I started going through all the things that I had missed out on helping. Guys, you can help Aggies. That's what the bottom line is, Aggies helping Aggies, and that's what they do there. The association's here, there, and everywhere, and that's how we all should be. For $9 a month, that's not a lot of money, but it's about $100 a year. You get the decal, the plaque, and the Texas Aggie magazine, plus you are continuing in the oldest, most inspiring tradition of Aggies helping other Aggies. Make sure you go check them out. To learn more about the impact of the association or get involved, make a gift, visit aggienetwork.com/giving.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on the Zone. Junior League is collecting school supplies for local kids. Stuff the Bus is Wednesday through Friday from 4:30 to 8 at local Blue Baker locations. Wednesday at University Drive, Thursday at Dominic Drive, and Friday at Mills Park Circle. Make a monetary donation at jlbcs.org. The Arts Council of Brazos Valley is hosting their first ever Community Art Day on Saturday from 2 to 4 p.m. at the Arts Council. There will be a variety of activities for the entire family. Registration is now open for Hog Splash, Hospice Brazos Valley's volleyball tournament fundraiser. The Mud Volleyball Tournament is Saturday, August 28th at Slovaceks and Snook. Sign your team up at hospicebrazosvalley.org. You can hear Houston Astros baseball on the Zone and select games on Gospel 97.3 FM thanks to Kelly Burt Dozer. When you need to make the earth move, call Kelly Burt Dozer. I'm Chelsea Reber on the Zone.
The association, because they support so many different things and they are involved, as a student, you feel like you have somebody in your corner.
We know that Alfredo's family has never seen him march live at Kyle Field. With the help of the Association of Former Students, we're going to end that today. Alfredo's family is here with us.
To the Association of Former Students, I don't know how much I can thank you enough for giving me hope that for anything that goes wrong, something good is going to happen out of it. Whatever they do for the school, it's always going to come out with a smile on someone else's face.
To learn more about the association's impact or to make a gift, visit tx.ag/giving.
Our publications reach every corner of the Brazos Valley, and we want to partner with you in sharing your message with the community. You may recognize a few of our Bryan Broadcasting publications.
Best of the Brazos Valley.
Brazos Life, the annual manual.
Welcome home, Brazos Valley.
Brazos Family. Brazos Wellness.
Brazos Valley Bride.
Peace, Brazos Christian Life.
With the combined power of 7 magazine titles, 11 radio stations, and digital solutions, Bryan Broadcasting Publications can help you be heard. Call 979-695-9595 to learn more.
This is ESPN Radio.
Warren Moon joining us right now, Hall of Famer.
The Green Bay Packers still give him the best chance to win a Super Bowl.
Willie Lanier, one of the greatest players in history of the NFL.
The objective, if they get an opportunity to play in the pros, is to go back to school immediately. Complete your degree immediately.
Joe Theismann, former Washington football team quarterback.
I'm beginning to believe more and more that Aaron Rodgers will not be a Green Bay Packer.
We're talking with Cam Newton as he joins us right now.
No type of clickbait to just say, Cam views him as a competition. I look at everything as competition.
Wanda Sykes, comedian extraordinaire.
I just love the game. If you go to a game, you're going to love it.
Legendary soccer player, the great Abby Wambach.
You're representing your country. Go get the damn goal.
Vernon Davis, how are you doing? Out of the gate, because it says you're the voice of the ESPYs.
So give me
ESPY voice.
Yeah.
This is Vernon. ESPN Radio, weeknights and weekends on Sports Radio 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. The Zone.
It is TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. So the music we're playing here, OB, you familiar with it?
No.
Dalton, can you help explain our musical choice this morning?
Yeah, we want to play it on YouTube, so we're going to have to change up our song choice to things that don't get the stream taken down off YouTube.
Yeah, since we're experimenting for the first hour or a little bit longer than that with YouTube, you can't play certain songs on streams without the licensing or something.
Right.
So we're having to use songs that are YouTube appropriate. So so for the first hour, these are all first timers for us.
Do we know what that song was?
I don't think we know. Okay. It's just a YouTube song. But
song.
Thank you, YouTube. We appreciate you. Hey, we do have a topic that we're hitting on, and I'd love to get your thoughts on this.
Yes, sir.
How are we feeling about things after this great pool party weekend? Before you answer that, we'll go to the A&B text line and read a couple of those messages that came in, some early this morning. This one from Lance in Round Rock. Man, I'm really stoked after reading all the updates and watching the interviews from the pool party on top of attending the outstanding TexAgs kickoff event on campus. It was great to hear from Coach Fisher, and I'm really excited about fall camp to get underway for the first game at Kyle Field. Absolutely, I'm pumped. I don't think we all needed a pick-me-up, and maybe we did. I don't think we needed a pick-me-up. I think we felt fine. But it was sure great to have that kind of weekend moments after Texas and Oklahoma are extended those invites and they accept them into the SEC, and everyone thinking, this is the end of Texas A&M's recruiting. Oh, my God, like they can't get in anymore, people. That was a good voice, right?
Yeah, it was, actually. I first of all, I was excited about seeing the 6'7", 320-pound, 16-year-old sophomore commit. But I have to admit, I was looking for even more commitments. That doesn't mean they haven't been. I was looking for more commitments to be made public.
Okay.
Doesn't mean there hasn't been any made.
Correct.
And it doesn't mean that, maybe there'll be some later. They just want to go home, talk to their folks or whatever, right? But I do think they came away from the weekend with a lot of priority targets impressed.
Yeah.
And that's what you got to do. You got to impress them, and I believe they did. So by all accounts, it was a very successful weekend. I'm not surprised.
Not surprised, but it just felt good with the timing of everything to see the whole world react to the kind of and maybe it's because I'm in this bubble, but I really felt like other schools were taking notice. They were making notes.
Well, we see that. We see the way you talked about it earlier, the way
LSU,
Texas, and there's others that are reacting to that. I think, I guess you're going to have everybody now doing a pool party. And
a barbecue party.
And right. And I just hope, if that's the case, that Lincoln Riley continues to do the barbecue for Oklahoma. Instead of, I don't know if you saw his brisket that he posted.
I saw that.
It was heinous.
It was disgusting looking, yes. Yeah. And you have Coach Price posting on social media, like, I'm working.
I don't know why Terry Price doesn't have his own restaurant.
Maybe that's coming.
Yeah.
That's coming after the national championship.
Yeah. But, because that looks, some of the stuff that he's shown before looks like
legit.
More than that, you know, superior. I want to eat some. I always said before that if I was a defensive end prospect, I would come to A&M not just because they're putting defensive linemen into the NFL like crazy, and not just because of the tremendous support I'm going to get or the outstanding coaching. I just want to eat Terry Price's barbecue.
Yeah, I mean that's reason alone. Here's another one from Mike in Citrus Hills, Florida. The pool party attendance proved that A&M is an elite program. We'll see the results in the upcoming months. Also, thanks to Bronny for his tireless efforts for the updates and the interviews. He was working. I don't know if you saw that thread. I don't know how many pages it was. I tried to read them all. I've never done that little trick.
45 pages.
Okay. I've never done the trick where you go to the next staff one because I had to, because he had so many updates. Like next staff update. He was killing it out there. Here's Eric in Frisco. People like to debate who the best recruiter in the class of 22 or what is the most important recruiter in the program, but I rest easy knowing that T. Price's barbecue is the greatest recruiting tool known to man.
He makes macaroni and cheese to go with it and everything else. I've seen, it's amazing. And like I said, do you know where the actual pool party takes place? Because I don't.
I do not know. I didn't even know the pool party was a thing. I didn't know it was a thing until recently. I mean, I had seen updates about a pool party.
Would y'all like me to tell you
where it was?
Yes,
please.
It was right down the road from us at Park West.
Okay.
The little living.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's where a lot of the team lives.
And who goes out and buys all the barbecue, all the meat that Terry Price is going to cook, that he's going to grill and barbecue and smoke and all that? I would love to have seen that bill.
Ridiculous. I mean, think about it, an offensive line, how much they like to eat and how many we had
here.
See,
that's why you have to make your contributions to the and that's why you need the extra $20 million or whatever.
Well, that's why I don't know if we can get into it a little
SEC.
bit. Yesterday, Ross Bjork talking a little bit about, hey, there's some things coming.
There's some more things coming.
There's some things coming.
Do never get complacent in college football if you with your facilities and things like that, if you want to be elite, because it's a never-ending arms race.
Yeah.
You've got to be as good or better than everybody else.
I forget who asked. I think it was a gentleman named Matt who asked.
Sam.
Was it Sam who said, what can we do? And there was already things that you can do. Yeah, we've got some things in the pipeline, my friend.
Because, quite frankly, I've said this before, when A&M had the upper hand and lost it, it was because Texas and LSU and Oklahoma really updated their facilities, and A&M, quite frankly, got behind. And that's when, everybody knows the story. R.C. Slocum went to Bum Bright and former players to get the Bright Center started.
Yep. By the way, we haven't even mentioned him, but we should mention Schloss was great yesterday, too. The passion when he was speaking about his kids really touched me. His vision for the program, he owned the room as well. On a football day, when he got up there, all the attention was definitely on Schloss.
Well, I've always said the second most popular sport at Texas A&M is baseball.
Right.
And there's a lot of baseball fans, and he just has a presence about him, I think. Good speaker. He's talked about how tirelessly they're going to work to try to bring championships here. I thought it was interesting. He said that his lead recruiter had been gone for 4 weeks. They picked up the car and he had to put in the GPS to him because he hadn't been here enough to know his way around.
Yeah, that was great. And I kind of feel like we're in similar shoes, although this is my community. But like they got here early July, and it's all brand new to them. It's not brand new to me, but having to get to know the area. But they've been out there recruiting. I think he said Atlanta. He'd been everywhere.
Yeah. And they're putting in the time to try to turn this program around, the baseball program around. I believe they will.
Here's another one. This one from our friend iDoc Mike 98. He says, it was an honor and privilege to be present at the kickoff yesterday with my brothers and sisters in arms ready to take on the coming season. Props to TexAgs for a great event, especially Logan Lee.
Yeah.
I absolutely loved our quiet confidence as a team and a fan base. There was hardly any talk about SEC expansion and those other schools. Let's keep this about us in the season, and let's let the results on the field do the talking. Gig 'em. I promise you, I got so sick of SEC expansion talk by the time Friday came, I was like, I know we have to talk about it because news was still changing every day. Now they get the invite. Now they accept the invite. Now this and that. Now it's football week with the team reporting this week on Thursday.
But, the one thing that really just irritated me about the whole thing was the narrative out of Texas. Like, okay, now you got to play A&M. A&M's against it because they want to duck. So I'm like, you've never heard one word from Aggie spoken against Oklahoma.
Yep.
And Oklahoma is far better than Texas. So if you don't have a problem with Oklahoma, why do you have a problem with Texas? By the way, I did talk to this gentleman who he made a suggestion to me to write, and I wish I could remember his name because I'd love to give him credit for this. He said, use this and call it your own. So no, he said that A&M should have abstained from the vote, just so the vote could be with Texas could be 13-0.
That would be great. That would have been great.
And if you're an Aggie, and understands the origin of the name Bevo, you understand what it's getting at.
But my thing with that is, I'm glad we said yes because it sends a message. In my opinion, bring it.
Oh yeah,
let's go.
I don't think it ever had anything to do with the competition. It's just the way. When Texas said, well, we're going to end the series, and then they spin the narrative, A&M's running from us. You ended the series. When, the Cotton Bowl people told me in 2012, well, Texas will not play in the Cotton Bowl against A&M. And then they didn't even win enough to qualify anyway. But so the narrative, and then when Texas and DeLa Stodds encouraged all other Big 12 teams not to play A&M in any sport. And, people just don't understand that.
All right, let's do this. Brad in Lufkin wants to get to us. Let's do him after the break. I'm having problems seeing my phone screen, so we'll get to Brad here in a moment. We'll continue breaking stuff down here on TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers.
This is The Zone. Aggieland's all sports station.
If you have a debit card, you're used to spending money. But what if your card actually ended up earning you money? That's not exactly normal, but that's what you can get at A&B. It's called Kasasa Cashback Checking. Don't mind the weird name. What you need to know is that it's a free account with cash rewards. Use your debit card for everyday purchases, and we'll pay you cash back every month. If that doesn't sound like normal banking, well, guess what? We're not a normal bank. So contact A&B today and ask for Kasasa or visit ANB.com. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Big deals.
Hi, it's Jenny from Big Deals, and I've got a big announcement to make. Big Deals now has an app that lets you shop, buy, and redeem your mobile certificates. It's so easy. Just go to your app store and type in Big Deals Media. That's Big Deals Media. Now more than ever, it's so easy to shop Big Deals from your phone.
Discounted gift certificates to your favorite Aggieland businesses. Download the Big Deals Media app now. When your diesel truck or construction equipment needs DEF, WPI has the best price in town. Only $8.50 for 2.5 gallons. Regardless of your machine's make or model, WPI can help. From custom hydraulic hoses, O-rings to teeth, buckets and blades. Any part, filter, fluid, battery, or lighting is at your local WPI. Visit Jesse James at WPI's new location in Bryan, Highway 21 east at Marina Road, or click WPI.com.
The flagship station for Aggie Athletics is The Zone. Whenever the Aggies are playing, you can hear them right here at 1150 and 93.7 FM. Thanks to our listeners and our sponsors for backing the Aggies all season long. First Financial Bank, Bryan College Station Toyota, Rudy's Barbecue, Schulte Roofing, The Sleep Station, and Pioneer Steel. Here's a big gig 'em to all these sponsors. Listen to Aggie Athletics on The Zone 1150 and 93.7 FM.
What if the music stopped? If the familiar voices were silenced? If there were no breaking news updates? What if your companion and connection to your community came with a monthly fee? Don't worry, we're free local radio with you wherever you go, celebrating 100 years and looking forward to the next 100. We are broadcasters. Text radio to 52886 and let Congress know you depend on your local TV and radio stations. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Listening to The Zone on your smart speaker is easy. If Louie can do it, anyone can do it. 2 simple steps, and you can hear Chip Howard Sports Talk, TexAgs Radio, The Louie Bellina Show, or Aggie football, basketball, or baseball on your smart speaker. Step 1, and one time only needed, say Enable Zone 1150 skill. Then anytime you want to hear your favorite host or teams, all you have to do is say Play Zone 1150. Make sure to set it up and say Enable Zone 1150 skill. And then listen in anytime just by saying Play Zone 1150.
Another classic here. This is my jam, Olin. Play this one at the gym on repeat.
Actually, I kind of like the sound of it. I don't know.
Doesn't sound bad.
I don't know if I would play it at the gym. I know you're being facetious.
Yeah, I'm just joking. Yeah, I'm not gonna play at the gym, but maybe I would on this show. I think it fits. It works.
Your one absolute gym song.
One out. I don't have one out.
Okay.
I mean, I'll say this: "Eye of the Tiger" is what I go to when I
Okay.
need that extra pump. Survivor and the way those guys dress really still is what gets me going.
All right, Survivor, Eye of the Tiger.
You like that song?
Yeah, I do actually.
Great song. Hey, by the way, it's TexAgs Radio, if you didn't know, and we've got an LSU lady watching the show on the YouTube stream. This is the beauty of doing at least an hour on there. Paula, she says she's 80 years old, and we made her giggle, and then she goes, "Go Tigers." Well, Paula, I appreciate you watching. Tell your friends to subscribe.
Said that made her giggle.
I don't know, because we made fun of Baton Rouge or something.
But we said
we like Baton Rouge, but we don't. It's not better than College Station. I mean, come on, let's be honest. It's Texas already.
I would rather live in College Station than Baton Rouge personally.
Sure,
but I like Baton Rouge.
Yeah, it's fine.
When we go there, I got some really good places for us to go eat.
Let's go to the phone lines. Brad in Lufkin wants to join TexAgs Radio here on the BCSI hotline. Hello,
East Texas
Brad.
Paisan.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen. How are you?
Good morning. Sorry you were on hold so long. We couldn't get the phone on our side to work.
No problem. Hey, when you were talking about Stuart Mandela, it reminded me of a couple takes that Colin Cowherd had. One was about 6 years ago, and then a couple of years later he made another one, and he kind of was making a counterpoint to his original point. And that is, if you remember when Myles Garrett was drafted number 1 overall to the Browns, he was going over the mock drafts, and then he went on a tangent on A&M saying there's just something off about that university, and they've got all the resources. They should be a top 5 to top 10 program every year, and they've only had, one double-digit winning season. And so after he was done with his diatribe, I kind of agreed with him in a lot of regards. But then when A&M released Sumlin and brought in Jimbo, he said, look at A&M's record. He kind of went on another diatribe and said, 8-4 and 7-5 is who they are. Why are they making these coaching changes? He goes, that's where they've always been. And to me, it's like if he went back to his original take 2 or 3 years earlier, he would have seen that, yeah. So if you're saying they should be a top 5 or top 10 program, then why would you settle for 8-4, 7-5? So the point is, I think a lot of these national guys, they don't remember what they say about one program or another from year to year. And, of course, everything changes and evolves. But it's just kind of funny if you listen closely sometimes to the points they make. Sometimes they offset that by something completely different that goes against what they originally said. So I always get a kick out of some of that stuff, not knowing full well that they really don't, have a good idea of what's going on within the program.
I would agree with all of that.
Yep.
The only thing I would say is that Colin Cowherd, a guy like Stuart Mandel should know better because his job is to cover college football.
Yep.
Colin Cowherd probably spends 90% of his time talking about pro sports, and then what he knows about college football is what he tries to read up on real fast.
Yeah, I agree. And let me throw this in there, too. I don't want to defend Colin Cowherd by any stretch, but I think sometimes we say things and we forget what our thought process was 2 years ago, right? Like, things evolve, on a radio show, on social media, sometimes we're very stream of conscious, and that's what we think at that moment. I know there's things that I said day one on this show that I don't remember saying, and then people are like, do you remember saying that? I was like, I said that?
Yeah, I always
say
when people say, well, A&M should have just assumed, understand who they are. My answer is, so back in the 70s, Miami should have just assumed and accepted who they were and not aspired to get better. And then, because they did aspire to get better and then dominated college football for more than a decade.
Right.
So A&M should not aspire to get better. Clemson.
Hey, can I just tell you, I think our phones and our MacBooks and all that is hearing what we're saying and feeding it into a little person. I mentioned Survivor, Eye of the Tiger, a moment ago. I go to the YouTube page to see how the stream is doing. Mm-hmm. Survivor is recommended. Eye of the Tiger.
Eye of the Tiger.
I'm telling you. Don't Google stuff, guys. It'll show up on the wrong thing. I'm just saying, you don't want to Google certain things, and it shows up when your kids are on your phone.
You probably made a lot of fans in Auburn.
OB, good job, brother. Thank you very much. All right, Dustin Harris is going to join us here on the show next on TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers.
NHL star Matt Martin for American Humane.
Hi, I'm Matt Martin, and in all my years of playing professional hockey, I've gotten my share of bruises and injuries. But for many who really put their lives on the line every day, it's not always the injuries you can see that hurt the most. I'm talking about our veterans. Every single day, 184 veterans are diagnosed with post-traumatic stress. And tragically, 20 take their own lives. When medications and therapy don't help, professionally trained service dogs can. American Humane, serving the U.S. military for over 100 years, has put together a free guide to help veterans obtain these life-saving service animals. If you are a veteran or know a veteran struggling with PTS, please go to AmericanHumane.org for this free, downloadable resource. Let's give our veterans the help they need to win their battle.
For more information, visit AmericanHumane.org.
This is Aggieland's home for Aggie football, Aggie basketball, and Aggie baseball. The Zone 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. Plus online at RadioAggieland.com. This is KZNE College Station Bryan.
From WTAW, I'm Chelsea Reber with a news update on the Zone. A Bryan City councilman is concerned about the local bid to bring in a $300 million addition to Fujifilm Diosynth Biotechnologies plant in the Bio Corridor.
College Station just doesn't, I don't think they see it the same way we do. They want to compete with every single thing, and I get that, and that's their job. And until their council turns, we're just going to probably kind of sit back and just let these things happen.
Speaking on WTAW, Bobby Gutierrez would like Fujifilm to decide which tract of land fits them the best. The city of Bryan owns land in the Bio Corridor that is inside the College Station city limits, and one location of the proposed Fujifilm expansion is on land in the Bryan School District. 4 College Station ISD school board members attended a special meeting last Thursday where approval was given to next year's student code of conduct. While the changes were considered to be minor and required by new state laws, CSISD Chief Administrative Officer Molly Perry was asked about the chain of command and required reporting when students are disciplined.
The state does have a monitoring system in place called data validation monitoring, where when there are abnormalities or things of concern in the data, they would actually provide some feedback to campuses and districts about that, and we have not had any of those in the recent past.
This afternoon, Bryan ISD school board members are scheduled to approve changes in the district's student handbook and code of conduct that includes language changes from he, she to they, their, and 2 adjustments in BISD's dress code. 2 business owners have notified Bryan police of an electronic payroll scam. Officer Cole Taylor says the victims are those who handle payroll who responded to spoof emails from scammers saying they've changed bank accounts.
Our investigators that are over these cases say that it's kind of become a trend, not necessarily locally, but they could see it potentially happening.
Taylor asks those who handle payroll to confirm bank account changes with the employee. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
Vera Bank is open and we are excited to serve you in College Station. Hi, this is Erica Archer, Treasury Management Officer at Vera Bank, and I specialize in helping businesses run their day-to-day operations more efficiently, saving you valuable time. Our team's job is to make yours easier. So give us a call or come by and see us off of Highway 6. At Vera Bank, you have a team of genuine bankers on your side, and you can bank on it.
Visit verabank.com today. That's VERA bank.com. Vera Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Save now on Pro Essentials with Lowe's Pro Summer Savings. Save on select appliance special values. Plus, save an additional $50 when you buy 2 or more appliances, each priced $396 or more. You'll also find savings on tools and more throughout the store. At Lowe's, the new home for pros. Must ask cashier to apply discount in store. Online must use promo code. Can't be combined with any other discounts. See Lowe's.com for exclusions and terms. Valid 7/15 through 8/4. U.S. only.
I'm Steve Miller with your Aggie Sports Minute, brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. Call 936-825-0500 or click hillcosupply.com. Aggie professional Fred Curley finished second in the men's 100 meters to earn the Olympic silver medal in Tokyo Sunday, running a personal best time of 9.84 to place second. Entering the games, the 26-year-old was one of the most interesting stories after dropping down from the 400 meters, where he won a bronze medal at the 2019 World Championships. Curley is the first Aggie in program history to medal in the short sprints, and he's the first Aggie to earn an individual medal in track and field since 1996, when Randy Barnes earned gold in the shot put at the Atlanta Olympic Games. Checking in on other Aggies in the Olympics, swimmer Sydney Pickram became an Olympic medalist as she and the Canadian 4x100 medley relay team claimed the bronze medal Sunday morning. Pickram is the 3rd A&M swimmer all time, with Breja Larson and Christine Marshall to medal in the Olympics. Runner Bryce Deadman earned an Olympic bronze medal in the inaugural mixed 4x400 meter relay for the Americans after the team was initially disqualified Friday for a faulty handoff. Trinidad and Tobago's Dion Lindor advanced to the men's 400 meter semifinal, while Tyra Gittins, also of Trinidad and Tobago, advanced to the final in the women's long jump. Athing Mo placed first in the women's 800 meter semifinal, and women's basketball's Adora Elanu scored 8 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists for Nigeria in a loss to Japan, 102-83. That's your Aggie Sports Minute. I'm Steve Miller on The Zone.
The flagship station for Aggie Athletics is The Zone. Whenever the Aggies are playing, you can hear them right here at 1150 and 93.7 FM. Thank you to all our listeners and our sponsors for backing the Aggies all year long. Cooper's Old Time Pit Barbecue, Swartman Flooring, Prosperity Bank, Hargrove Insurance, Park at Traditions Exceptional Senior Living, Cherry Rufino Broker Realtor with Coldwell Banker Apex Realtors, and Amarillo National Bank. Here's a big gig-em to all these sponsors. Listen to Aggie Athletics on The Zone 1150 and 93.7 FM.
It is TexAgs Radio, presented by David Garner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio, having some fun. The topic of the day: how are you feeling about things after this great weekend? The pool party, we had the kickoff event. Jimbo rocked it. Ross rocked it. Schloss rocked it. It was a good old time. But right now we turn our attention to a former player, Dustin Harris, in the house. Last played with Texas A&M in 2012. He's joined by his friend Jacob Maxwell from True Exposure. And Dustin, man, it's been a minute. How you doing?
Man, I'm doing good. Doing good. Blessed to be here.
Yes, sir. So I know we got a lot to get into. You got a big event coming up on Sunday. Why don't we hit that for a second, and we'll come back to it in a moment. When is your camp? Where is it going to be at? And tell us a little bit about it.
So the camp is August 8th on Sunday. This coming up Sunday. It's going to be at Veterans Park. Basically, it's we're trying to get the kids a little exposure. Getting some verified times. Basically, letting them know where they're going to be, where they're at right now, going into fall season.
So is that what age groups? Is it 8th grade through seniors in high school?
10-year-olds up all the way up to 18-year-old.
Oh, wow.
So we're doing pretty much everybody. Want to get that way the kids are able to see where they're at, even at the young age, see where they're at, so they know what they need to work towards moving forward.
All right, so let's talk about the big stuff going on around Aggieland, recruiting. So last week we hear Texas is coming in. Texas is coming in. They're going to dominate the recruiting trail. The weekend that it's announced that Oklahoma and Texas are going in, A&M dominates, and we have a great pool party. Jimbo rocks it yesterday at our event. Just your thoughts on the state of Aggie football with all the craziness going around in college football.
Man, we've been through it all, and I can attest, from that, because coming from the Big 12, moving into the SEC, I got to play against, the Big 12 guys, Texas, and, I'm loving it. There's mixed feelings, as everybody has, but, with Texas coming back, I can't wait. I can't wait, because it's one of those rivalries that is, it's been talked about, and, now we got Oklahoma and Texas in our conference again. Oh, I can't wait.
What was it like playing Texas, the kind of atmosphere? Because a lot of these kids today, they don't know. They know LSU. They know Bama. They know, real schools. I mean, I'm no shot at Texas, but the level of competition has definitely gone up in the SEC.
Yeah. You look at the rivalry, the Red River Shootout, that is nothing compared to A&M and Texas. Growing up, I was a Texas fan. Growing up, I was a big Vince Young fan. But when I came to visit A&M, it was totally a game changer, and that's the reason I picked A&M. And plus, I'm a farmer, so I like being on a ranch. But once I kicked it off my freshman year, and our first games against Texas, you can see the atmosphere just totally changed from any other game. And so it's going to be great to see that atmosphere again. I've got buddies calling me, since the Texas-Oklahoma deal, happened, they're just like, hey, we're going to that game. I'm like, of course.
Of course you are, yeah.
Of course we are. So it's one of those, it's that rivalry that just, it gives you chills down your spine every time you see that matchup coming up. So
you told me a little bit at the break about Johnny. Let's talk about that 2012 team. All the talent, like legit NFL talent, on that 2012 squad. And we'll start with your experiences with Johnny.
Man, Johnny is he's a different person, man. He's awesome. He's on the field. When you got on the field with him, it was nothing but it was the will to win. No matter what situations we were in, the kid can play, and I'll never take that away from him. And then you got Ryan Swopes, Sean Porter, all the big time guys that we all came together. We all grew up, coming in A&M. We all grew up together, and being able to take that 2012 team, it was something that was never expected of us, but we knew going in as seniors that we wanted to make a statement going into that year, especially going into the SEC, and I think we did.
Think about some of the talent you played with even before that. You played with Vaughn too, right?
Yep. Oh yeah, that was my big brother going in. He always had my back.
Yeah.
Yeah, because coming in, I weighed $159, $156.
What?
Yeah, coming in, I weighed $156, and Coach McMillan took a chance on me, and I tell you what, when I came in, I gained 20 pounds just like nothing. And I was still somewhat of the smallest DB on the field, but I had some big fellas behind my back, so they took care of me.
Yeah, and just when you think about some of the names that you played with, I mean, Mike. How about Big Mike?
Man, Mike, different cat.
Yeah.
He's a different cat. There's all kinds of guys that I played with, Cyrus and all them. They set the tone for us when we first came on as freshmen. They took care of us, but also they treated us hard. And they taught us what the will to win was, and I think we finally got that my senior year. So
we got Dustin Harris here in studio in the Rollo Insurance Studio. So let's talk about what has happened since 2012 for you. You leave A&M. Take me through and where you're at now.
When I left A&M, I obviously went into the pros for a little bit. Came back with the knee injury and finished school. Told my dad I was going to finish, and I did. From there, I got into the business world. I was in the oil field for a little bit, but I still, as guys know me, as the rancher type guy. So, we recently got married back in September, so coming up on a year. And we moved back to Anderson, Texas, which puts me right back at home. So, but now, trying to strive to, allow the kids that, the chance that I never had to get their stuff out earlier than what I was able to, and what some of the other guys that I played with were able to.
So tell me a little bit about True Exposure, the methodology behind it. Jacob, you can jump in there as well. Just what you guys are planning and how this weekend can really help take a kid to the next level.
Yeah. So, True Exposure is something that was developed through, 15 years of coaching and working with youth athletes. I was injured early on, never played collegiate sports, but it's always been a passion. So I've coached for years. And through that coaching, I've coached tremendous athletes, but we were in a small market, College Station, Bryan, Franklin. So you would take good teams on a national stage. They would play very well, win, dominate, don't get any recognition. Didn't help them. So through all of that, fast forward to about 4 years ago was the inception of our 7-on-7 circuit and True Exposure. We wanted to provide a platform for all athletes to be able to compete on a clean slate and really promote all the athletes. So that's kind of the emphasis of True Exposure. From there, we went into camps, combines, rivals. Everybody has their own flair to it, but True Exposure really wanted to have more of an intimate setting, smaller, so we can work with the athletes and teach them and help them on things they need to work on through the combines and the camps to really help them. And we go into small markets, large markets all across the nation. We're one of the largest circuits in the country. So helping them and really empowering the athletes and their parents and giving them the knowledge on when to do things, how to do things, and to give them the tools necessary to help their recruiting. So that's what True Exposure is all about.
Dustin, how important is it? You've been on that end, right? And for the coaches that are searching to buy in as well.
Yeah, it's like Jacob said, really it starts where a lot of the parents don't know what to do, how to get there. They every parent thinks they have a 5-star athlete, and I can attest from that. My dad pushed and pushed and pushed because the ultimate goal is for your kid to get a scholarship, so potentially you don't have to pay for college. The goal is to make sure that the parents understand exactly what they need to do and the different steps they need to take in order to get their kid where the opportunity to make the best of his career. And so I've been there, having to go to in high school, having to go to my media guys and say, hey, I need a DVD to take to a college, or I need a DVD to send off to a college, or I need to go get my my SATs, ACTs, and I need to have them sent to a college. With True Exposure, everything's right there. You've got your digital resume. You've got everything that is needed for a college coach or a university is right there on our site, and you can go in and all the kid has to do is upload his SATs, ACTs. He can upload any highlight game film that he wants once he's gotten into true exposure, and all they have to do is go in, type in a name, type in like a college coach. He can go in, type in a name. He can type in height, 40 speed, whatever he's looking for, and it's right there. So it makes it easier for the college coaches.
All right, so how do kids sign up, or parents listening right now saying, all right, I want my kid there. I want to start this video process going. What do they need to do?
Yeah, so trueexposure.net. You can come on our website. Phone numbers are listed. We'll have we can conversate with the parents. We can lead them through, kind of guide them through our whole process. And that's also kind of one of the reasons that we have the verified combines. We like for those athletes to be able to get tangible things that they can upload to their profile or that they can send to the coaches directly. We have a database of over 100,000 athletes that have been tested with the Zybex standard athlete testing. So they know where they stand up. So if they're out there and they're a running back and they want to see their 40, their 5, 10, 5 vertical broad jump and see where they rank nationally and what they need to work on, that's what we provide.
What is that ring? That's amazing. Tell me about that ring. Look at this bad boy. Can you show the camera? Look at this.
So
look at that.
We have Championship 7v7, which is our 7v7 circuit, off-season football.
Yeah.
We're the largest and fastest growing circuit in the nation. We're 4 years in. So we average about 85 teams. A tournament, we had 139 teams at our national championship. This was the ring from this year that the championship teams won. So every year we want the athletes to be able to leave with something, not just a trophy that goes with the coach. We wanted to be able to provide those athletes with the championship ring. So we're always doing different things to help the athletes because True Exposure was built for the athletes. So everything we do, we have them in mind. But yeah, that was our championship ring from this year.
I love that. I want to wear it and tell people I won the Super Bowl. Hey, so Dustin, last thing. What kind of year is this going to be for Texas A&M football?
Oh, you're about to. It's about to be insane. I've actually been waiting on this year. Everybody kept saying it. It's going to be 2-3 years. So this is the year I've been waiting patiently, so to speak. And I will be at a few of the games this year because I think this is going to be a one for the books for A&M for sure.
Awesome, my friend. You come back in the studio sometime, okay?
You got it.
Thank you, Jacob. Appreciate you both. Very nice of you guys to come by. All right, so let's role play again. I love to do this role play. Just play along with me for a second.
Yeah,
right?
you got it.
All right. Let's say that one day Dustin is playing football and he makes the game-saving tackle, right? But he knocks out a tooth, or his grill gets messed up. He's starting to look like Michael Strahan. You know what he does? Well, the old Michael Strahan. Apparently, he fixed it. I didn't know. His teeth are jacked. People are making fun of him after the game, but he made the game-saving tackle. What does he do? He calls Dr. Elms and Dr. Stewart at Elms Orthodontics. That's right. You don't want to have a dirty grill, guys. You don't want to have a smile that people are making fun of. Trust me, it's not good. I had Invisalign done many, many years ago. It helped me out. It can help you out. And those are the two doctors in town. They're going to take great care of you. Dr. Elms has been around since 1986, class of 86, a mainstay in our community for over 30 years. He's best of the Brazos, 16-time winner over there. Dr. Jeremy Stewart, class of 03. They are an incredible 1-2 punch. You definitely want to call them and hear them out. They'll give you a great consultation. You're going to get a great smile. I mean, that's what it's all about, like smiling and not looking terrible, right? Reach out to Dr. Elms and Dr. Stewart for a free consultation, 1501 Emerald Parkway in College Station. The number for Elms Orthodontics, 979-693-6300, or check them out at drelms.com.
This is the Zone 1150 AM and 93.7 FM.
Tim Bailey Plumbing. Drivers, be particularly alert during the hours when children are walking to and from school. Please drive as if their lives depended on it. All too often they do. This message is from Tim Bailey Plumbing, serving the Brazos Valley. They're your residential plumbing service and remodeling specialists. Dependable service at reasonable rates. Call for your service and remodeling needs at 979-204-9800. That's 979-204-9800. Tim Bailey Plumbing, wishing our kids a safe and healthy back-to-school season.
Hey, it's David Nuño. Texas is known for football, barbecue, and hot summer temperatures. And typically, the hotter the weather, the higher your electricity bill. But with some help from Energy Ogre, a Texas technology company, you can lower your bill by up to 40%. In fact, we signed up 2 years ago, and they saved my family 35%. Energy Ogre will find you the cheapest electricity plan in your area. Manage all future contracts, saving you time and money. Go to EnergyOgre.com and enter code HOWDY for a free month of service. That's EnergyOgre.com to start saving today.
Our publications reach every corner of the Brazos Valley, and we want to partner with you in sharing your message with the community. You may recognize a few of our Bryan Broadcasting publications.
Best of the Brazos Valley.
Brazos Life, the annual manual.
Welcome home, Brazos Valley.
Brazos Family. Brazos Wellness.
Brazos Valley Bride.
Peace, Brazos Christian Life.
With the combined power of 7 magazine titles, 11 radio stations, and digital solutions, Bryan Broadcasting Publications can help you be heard. Call 979-695-9595 to learn more.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. I came out in the 11th grade. Nobody was embracing you. The kids were cruel. It was very difficult to be gay. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma. The hard part was determining that I was going to do it, but I definitely didn't do it alone.
At age 30, with the help of her mentor, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
I have a mentor, Maria. She convinced me to continue my education and to finish what I started to get my diploma. Just never judges. She's a true role model. If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, go get it. You can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Hey y'all, this is Marty Smith.
And I'm Ryan McGee. And we are
Marty and McGee. Check us out every Saturday morning on ESPN Radio and the SEC Network.
Of course, we'll be all over the biggest news in the world of sports.
And plenty of that Marty and McGee type stuff.
Like the Hillbilly Headlines.
And some of the craziest callers you've ever heard in your life.
It might be the only reason to wake up that early on a Saturday morning.
Yeah, for sure. It's Marty and McGee. Join us Saturday mornings on Aggie Land's Home for Sports.
The Zone, 1150 AM and 93.7 FM.
TexAgs Radio presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. We got a couple open segments if you guys want to get in on the phone line and kind of react to how you feel about things after this great weekend. It did feel like a big victory on the field for me. Even though there's no games going on yet, the team is going to be reporting here very soon. But to me, it certainly felt like a victory because we have to see how things play out over the next 12, 16 months, next 3 months, how recruiting continues to evolve and how NIL changes the game, how SEC expansion changes the game. But all I heard was, oh, and it was doomed, dude. Like, bro, it's done. You guys are terrible now. We're in the SEC. I don't know where I get this voice from, but that's kind of what you would read out there, right? You would read that things are not going to go well because now what are you going to recruit now, huh? We're the other SEC team. And the reality is, A&M is not just about the SEC. The SEC was a platform for us to jump to separate from what we thought was a gross relationship, right? But now we've moved on. We've advanced, and we've got a head coach in Jimbo Fisher that has changed the game. Jimbo has, again, I said this since day one. It's about the coach. It is not, does the conference help? Absolutely. Absolutely, the conference helps, but that's not why A&M is where they're at. A&M is where they're at because of a coach in Jimbo Fisher with a solid recruiting base, some of the best recruiters in the country, an incredible staff, and players that are buying into the culture. Future players, current players, all who represent our university at the highest level. If you want to chat a little bit about how you feel about it, you can. On the BCSI Associates hotline, 979-693-1150, or you can text the show on the AMB text line, 979-693-1150. It is real Texas banking. But I was very curious after everything that happened this weekend, what was going to be our move. And our move is set. Like, it's already been set in motion. There's nothing that other programs can do to stop the momentum train that has left the station. We have moved on, not only from our relationships with Texas and Oklahoma and Big 12 schools, but Jimbo's not even worried about it. If you would have listened to him yesterday, he's like, look, I ain't worried. I forget the exact phrasing that he had, but he's, whatever. There's another game on the schedule. Let's go. And that's exactly what I want to hear from the head coach of a place that is destined for greatness. Yesterday, Gabe had me on the stage at the kickoff event, and he asked me what I think the next 10 years are going to be like. And he looks at the last 10 years when he was doing the show. You had the Johnny era, you had the SEC era, the Johnny era, obviously the Orange Bowl victory. Some great times there. And I think I am in this chair, in this role, and I don't mean this to come across as cheerleader guy, because I'm actually very pessimistic at times. Anybody who knows me, like I think of ways that our team is going to lose. Like, backup tight end's hurt. I mean, it's going to cause a game plan. I'm very rarely very optimistic when it comes to teams that I care about. It's just, they call it battered Aggie syndrome. They call it battered Houston sports fan syndrome. Like, I have gone through, like, the Aggies were up on UCLA. I told Tom Abrams on the air, I don't know, man. I think we're going to lose this one. What? You're up by 20, whatever it was. And I felt scared about that. The Texans were up on the Chiefs. Big. First quarter, whatever it was, 28-7. It was huge, whatever the score was. And I was like, oh, there ain't gonna, everyone in Houston was like tweeting out, AFC Championship game, here we come. No, you're not. You're Houston. But when it comes to this era of A&M sports, really, but I'm talking specifically right now about this era of Texas A&M football. When it comes to this era, I am very optimistic about the future. I think these next 10 years will be the golden years of A&M athletics, and most particularly A&M football, because I believe in the man that's leading them right now. I believe that Jimbo has the exact ingredients to get. Now, does that mean a national championship? I think it will turn into one. It could be this year, next year, with a returning quarterback. Like, I don't know when it's going to be, but I feel it is coming. And again, and I said this at the beginning of Jimbo, I like that we're in the conversation. That's not enough for me. It is not enough to be in the conversation, because I think we have elevated ourselves as a program. But I like that we're in the conversation. I like that people are talking about us being a national championship contender year in and year out. Now, you can point at it. I saw that tweet that Obi and I talked about, that if Jimbo wins, that he'll be tied or the most bowl wins in A&M. Look, I'm looking at our trajectory, and I see championships. I see SEC titles. I see separation, even more separation from the University of Texas. But they got to prove it on the field. Haynes King has got to bring it next year. He has to bring it. I think he will. Zach Calzada has to bring it, whoever the quarterback is. And by the way, can I give some props to Stephen McGee? I didn't realize I liked film breakdown so much until yesterday. I've watched some film breakdown before, and that's cool. Stephen McGee, really, the way he explains things, like I'm late to the party. I apologize. Like, when he was talking about Haynes' 3-step back yesterday, and that extra touch that he took, if you will, it really painted the picture for me. It was just he just did a wonderful job. I really enjoyed the film breakdown. I'm looking forward to more of that. A couple text messages to get into on the A&B text line. I love the fact that we're getting consideration from the best recruits in the country, but personally, I'm most interested in the recruits that have 2 goals as their top priority. They want to be Aggies more than anything. Are they ready and willing to work? The number of stars by their name doesn't really matter if these goals aren't a priority. That separates Speedy Knoll, a 5-star, from Anaya Smith, 3-star, Buddy Johnson, 3-star, and Cullen Gillespie, who didn't have any of the stars by their name. Those kids are what builds programs and will help us catch Alabama. Johnny and Dallas with that. I think you need a little bit of both. I do. I really think you definitely need, I hate to use the word overachievers, but guys that play way better than the ranking by their name. And, when we had Dustin Harris in studio talking about the films that they're going to be providing there and whatnot, and True Exposure, I sometimes these kids don't get the exposure that they deserve, or they just look at the metrics, so they get this star by their name. And look, I want dogs on my team. I want guys that are willing and to outwork the competition. There is a reason Cullen Gillespie's of the world, and I'm going to use something in the same vein, Tom Brady's of the world, certain types of athletes, those who come into work early and leave late. There is a different mentality. And when your star player is willing to work more and longer than anybody else, to me, that permeates throughout the program, and we see big things. So, yeah, I agree with you there, no doubt. Chase in Houston, good friend of the show. We were talking earlier about Baton Rouge versus College Station, and he says the smell in Baton Rouge is corn dogs. I can't believe I haven't had a corn dog since 1984, I think it is. But, yeah, and I don't do hot dogs. Dalton, don't make that a hotkey, please. I just don't do hot dogs. He also throws in National College Football media and National Baseball media are the same because their feelings are still hurt because they're always picked last for sports when they were kids. And this goes back to the Mandel tweet from earlier, which maybe I read into it. I'm going to ask Billy more about the relationship there because, again, a lot of these stories I don't know. I don't know the history. I don't pretend to know, like, what media guy said this or that. I honestly don't take too much stock in what people say, what they say. And I say what I say, right? Not everybody's a huge fan of what I say, and it's whatever. Like, I just move on from it. One last one before we hit a break. Trey and China, the pool party is going to pay huge dividends. People need to understand that this is not your father or my Texas A&M. If you want homeless people and the smell of bat, go to TU. If you like the smell of corn dogs, go to LSU. If you want a beautiful campus, great coaching, unbelievable facilities, and the best fan base and the best coach, then come to Aggieland. Trey, that made me laugh, buddy. If you want homeless people and the smell of bat gunno, then go to TU. If you like the smell of corn dogs, then go to LSU. I don't like the smell of corn dogs at the mall or in Baton Rouge. It's just not my thing. Hey, by the way, I'd love to hear from you guys. What did you think of the first hour and change on YouTube? We enjoyed it. We made some new friends there. Paula in Baton Rouge listening to the show. We appreciate her joining in on it. We'll be doing it for the foreseeable future, just trying it out, just giving you guys a different experience, just part of the show, because we certainly want you guys to go to TexAgs.com and become a subscriber to get all the insider information, stuff that Bronny was posting in there on the boards, on the premium boards, all the great intel that folks like Billy, Jason Howell, Bronny are bringing you, especially on a weekend like we just had with the pool party. I mean, that was such a good time, and the intel up to the second. Like, these guys, like, I kept on refreshing, like, okay, enough info. I've had enough info, Bronny. You're giving me too much info. That's why you want to be a subscriber. And for those of you out there that are not Aggie fans, we appreciate you interacting with us there on the YouTube stream, which is about to come to an end. But we appreciate everybody checking it out. Rest of the show is going to go as planned. Another open segment. If you want to get in, you can. You can call us on the BCSI Associates hotline, 979-693-1150, or the A&B text line under that same number. We're going to have Billy Liucci in studio to recap an incredible weekend starting at 10 o'clock. It is TexAgs Radio presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. But before that, guys, I want to talk a little bit about what's going on with our friends at Aggieland Outfitters. Remind you to text radio to 900-900 for your chance to win the big Friday giveaway, courtesy of our friends there at Aggieland Outfitters. And this week, an Adidas sideline polo, which is going to feature the A&M Lone Star logo on the left chest and the Adidas logo in maroon on the right. It's made with the Prime Blue, a high-performance recycled material made in part with Parley Ocean plastic. This is like for smart people. I'm not that smart, but it's made with Parley Ocean plastic, meaning it's been made out of a recycled polyester from plastic intercepted from marine communities before it reached ocean water. So you're doing some really good by wearing these shirts. Aero-ready technology manages moisture to keep you dry and comfortable. Perfect for those hot midday Aggie football games. Kent State's not that far away, guys. It's right around the corner. Get your new Adidas Sideline Polo valued at $74.99. It's incredible when you go to Aggieland Outfitters.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on The Zone. The 28th Annual Feast of Caring, benefiting the Brazos Valley Food Bank, is Wednesday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Brazos Center. The meal is free and served by local celebrities, but donations are gratefully accepted. The St. Joseph Health Mature Well Lifestyle Club is offering Hand Picking Like a Pro, a special presentation by Ronan Farm and Restaurant and Mature Well's dietitian. This Wednesday at 2 p.m. Class size is limited. Reserve your spot by calling Michelle at 979-731.